Yes, yes. What up, y'all? This is Vinnie Paz. You're listening. You're tuned in to episode 22. What is that, my
22.
co-host?
22. And
I like when you. Yes, indeed, indeed. What up, y'all? This is episode 22. Knock 'em out the box. My name is Vinnie Paz. This is my co-host with the co-most, the left, right, left kid, Mr. Brendan Long. What's the word, kid?
Yo. Chilling. What's
How
going
you
on
doing,
with you?
man?
Out here trying to stay
COVID free?
I'm a American. How do you say that shit?
I'm,
American.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm dodging Americans and
You're
Deltas out
slipping
here.
it. You're
I'm
Willie
slipping
pepping it.
Yeah, that's
You're
it,
Willie
baby.
pepping it. Indeed, no doubt. Me too.
It's
my guess is it's going to become more difficult to do that with with what we both do. We sometimes we're forced to be around people. So
yeah, I try to run away from it.
As you said, you're not going to the barber shop. You're going to let your hair wolf.
That's it.
Can wifey cut your hair?
No. Brendo cuts his own hair.
Floby, dog.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm throwing myself into the
abyss.
Yeah.
I have enough exposure with what I do for a living, being in and out of convenience stores all day long.
Sure.
And the other thing I do, I get coughed on, breathed on.
Yeah. Get thrown at you.
Once in a while, spit on.
Sure. Yeah, recently. Yeah. I was just gonna say something.
Whoa.
So listen, we weren't here last week, but lots of stuff to review.
Our apologies.
Yes. Lots of stuff to review, not much at all to preview. Because of the holidays, not a lot of guys are or want to be in training during the holidays because some fighters culturally, there's just food everywhere. Right. You happen to be a Jewish fighter, a Catholic fighter. A Christian fighter. These holidays, it's tough for a lot of these guys to have camps. It's why you'll always see, if you notice, people probably don't, but you'll see a lot of Muslim guys fight around the holidays because it's of no consequence to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Beterbiev, Bernard would fight whenever, any holidays like this.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna review a lot of fights.
Lots.
22 episodes in, man. A lot of shit went down. 22 episodes, man. Time is flying by, man. But
going fast. Hope you guys like it. I hope you guys want to hear more going into this is 22, going into 2022. So I hope you guys want to hear more. Write us. Let us know what you want to hear at keotbboxing@gmail.com. keotbboxing@gmail.com. And we do appreciate all mail from our listeners. And we'll do our best to read it all. We'll get to that later.
We've also been slacking a little bit on YouTube. So it is our intent to stop doing that and to give more YouTube content.
You can look at these ugly mugs.
Ugly mugs a little more often. Should we just get it started, B? Should we just dive right into this?
Let's
talk about Vasyl Lomachenko, Richard Commey. Do you, by chance, remember our predictions?
Yeah, sort of. We predicted stoppages.
A late stoppage,
correct?
I believe.
Which has been par for the course for Loma.
Correct. I remember a word I'm going to steal from you. We've both sort of concocted these buzzwords that we overuse, and I'm a fan of us overusing them. And yours is the word attrition. Mine is the word optics. They both fit into a lot of what we discuss on here. So I'd like to say that your prediction is a stoppage by Lomachenko due to attrition. It really did happen. The stoppage that wasn't there. Commey was dropped. It was bad. He was badly hurt. He was badly hurt multiple times. I would have had no problem with this fight being stopped. None at all. Depending on where you stand, I like Richard Commey. I like him a lot as a fighter and as a person.
He seems like a really great guy.
Yeah, I would have stopped it if I believe it was Andre Rozier. If I'm not,
he's a Brooklyn guy now, by way of Accra, Ghana, a fight capital. They have,
for as small as it is, you have Ike Corte, you have Azuma Nelson.
Yeah,
it's actually crazy. If you knew how small it was and how many goons came out of there.
Right.
Bazooka Aikort said, yeah, just great fighters, Aquagana. So listen, man, let's talk about the fight a little bit. I really feel like, okay, Commey's got that big right hand. Yep. So Loma, don't circle to your left. We know how high his IQ is. He's not going to do that. I'd even venture to say, B, as much as we've talked about Lomachenko on the show and his footwork and his angles, he's not really someone that circles, which every fighter does, unless they just come forward. Right. But for guys that you look at that have good footwork, circle to their right or their left.
Sure.
What he does is different than that. We've tried to explain it previously.
It's a strange step within range.
Yes.
It's like, for lack of a better term, staccato. It's
I like that.
It's a very quick, jagged step to one side where he just fires off shots. And he did that in this fight where he did his thing. He did his Lomachenko thing. He knocked. It wasn't. I didn't find any bits or pieces of this fight close. Commey, for all of his strength, looked extremely outclassed.
For what it's worth, I had it 120, 107.
Yeah, it was with the knockdown.
I had it a shutout. The round where, the old saying, he was out on his feet, where he was literally out on his feet.
Right. I mean, walking where his kind of leg was dragging.
Yes, that could be another knockdown. Sure. The ropes held him up. So again, this is nitpicking in regards to the refereeing. But I definitely feel I had it a shutout. He was badly hurt when he was on the ropes and got hit with that left hand. Badly hurt.
Yes.
There was some. I look at Lomachenko. We know he's not a power puncher in regards to one punch power. He's done it a couple times. I'm not that he hasn't, but like you say, attrition and accumulation.
He's certainly got enough power to keep you honest. And let's be honest, he is fighting very small for the lightweight division. You've said it multiple times on this podcast. He is likely too small for this division.
Multiple times. I believe he should be at 130, but I understand why he's not.
The money really starts at lightweight.
There's the money, and there's this thing in him of I want to fight and beat the best. Yeah. And no one at 30 or 26, where he was at one point, is really testing him. I can't look, guys, if you listen to this podcast, you know how often I've said it. He's really smart lightweight. He comes in light, which is very rare. Really the only name fighters that I've ever seen do that are Pacquiao and Floyd. Floyd at 54 would come in light, and Pacquiao pretty much everywhere. Up once he started going into 30, 35, 40, 47, he would come in light, because those guys just weren't built for that. You have to be a mental patient to want to fight at a place that's not suitable for you when you could make the other way. Obviously, some people just outgrow it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What do we like to see moving forward, B? Do you see to me, you do Vasyl Lomachenko, George Kambosos.
So the chatter is that Bob Arum is going to petition to have Loma be the mandatory for Kambosos, since Teofimo beat Loma, took the belts. Kambosos beat Teofimo, got the belts. Loma is up next. I love it. I think it's for a multitude of standpoints. One, I think Loma deserves it. He's willing to do it. The other guy in that division who's tops in that division is Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis's promoter, manager, handler, whatever you want to call him, Floyd Mayweather, has explicitly said that Gervonta Davis will not fight anybody outside of the money team or PBC or whatever thing that they're calling themselves that week. They're titled du jour.
For those that think that's hyperbole, what B is saying, it is not. That's a quote. When I say a quote, it's he's paraphrasing. I won't use the word
I'm
quote.
paraphrasing what
He's
Floyd has said.
paraphrasing. Floyd is on record saying
So
he will not fight any of those guys. Previously, going back to 2017,
Right.
Floyd explicitly said, we're not ready for that Lomachenko fight yet.
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. Again, paraphrasing. He said it minimum of 4 times specifically about Lomachenko.
Right.
And he's repeatedly said, again, paraphrasing, we will not fight anyone outside the TMT, PBC, Al Heyman umbrella.
Right.
This is not guesswork.
So
this is not hate.
Those statements eliminate Loma and Kambosos, right, from Davis. So there's no talk of that. The other guy
and Haney.
Right, and Haney. So the other guy would be Haney fighting Kambosos, which Haney said he's willing to do.
Yes.
I think from a promotional standpoint, it's better to get Loma. In Australia, being that Loma is Ukrainian or from the Ukraine, I don't think Ukrainian is the right way to say it. Not tied to like America, he's not an American guy.
Right. Outside of the Ukraine, as you and I have discussed many times on the show, nationalism and tribalism doesn't apply to Lomachenko when it comes to fighting in the U.S. or anywhere in
Australia.
Australia, or
they're going to make the fight in Sydney in front of apparently like 60,000 people if they can.
Soccer stadium.
Yeah,
or rugby,
whatever. And Loma would get a platform there. Time zone, etc. They wouldn't have to be tied to like a U.S. fighter's time zone.
Hey, B, I have a sidebar.
Sure.
That's relevant to this. Is where I wouldn't have cut you off. Remember, we asked, our Aussie listeners when we were talking about watching Tim Tszyu, and I said to you, "Hey, B, like back in the day, like when Kasha would fight or some of these guys, remember they would fight to accommodate the U.S. fight fans?" And we were discussing that. Our man Shane, who does all of our graphics, he hit me up and he's like, "Paz, when there's Australian fighters that people around the world don't care about, we don't adhere to the U.S. time zone."
Right.
He was like, "That Kambosos Lomachenko fight will absolutely be on your time zone." So he straightened me out.
So it'll be like 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
Over there, it'll be 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday.
On a Sunday morning.
It'll be Saturday night here for us. So if this fight, our fight is going to happen. It's most likely going to be Kambosos Lomachenko or Kambosos Haney. That's probably 95%. Whatever the other fight. But that fight, according to Shane, he hit me, was like, no. Something that big, we will adhere to your time. To the U.S. time to make it bigger, because of the size of the market. It's 350 million people here, plus the other people that are on this time zone, including some of the South America and the islands, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, the fight will be on a Saturday night here as they normally are.
So that's what I see. What's next for Loma, and so I think we're in agreement. We think it sounds like Bob wants to do that. That he wants to make the fight in Australia with Kambosos in a huge stadium for a huge gate. And the only, again, typically with American fighters, it's a weird phenomenon. Even if they fight overseas, their numbers do less than when it's in the States. Yeah. So again, Loma's not really an American fighter. So I think that's why this is, but you'll rarely see a promoter almost salivate like Bob has, where he's like, we're going to do it in Australia. He said it right away. It was like, we're going to check and see what venue. We might do it here. We might do it there. He's going to get a huge site fee.
They know how massive, he knows how massive it'll be.
Yeah, it'll be.
We sort of, look, man, before we move on, we did sort of brush over Lomachenko's performance, which is sometimes a testament to how good he is. For you and I,
yeah, he looked great.
Understanding between you and I that I'm curious if some of the fans share, and that is this guy will just look great, and we just move on. Yeah, we're sort of not appreciating what we're watching. Sublime footwork again. Those angles I spoke about pre-fight that I said he's going to give them, and fighters give angles. That's not a new thing. His ability to turn on an angle and have the timing and speed. And I'm not talking about that blinding prime Pacquiao speed. this frustrating speed that doesn't even allow the guy to turn to adjust to his angle. He turns and starts shooting shots from the side, and these guys are getting caught. And of course, we're not talking about a defensive wizard in Commey, but he's done it to two defensive wizards, whether you're talking about Regondiao or Gary Russell Jr. The ability to the people say, oh, he turned the guy. He's turning himself and having these guys not be able to react to what
his feet are so good.
I've just never seen anything like it.
No, he spins in and out. It's almost like teacups at the carnival. You know what I mean? Like he spins, and like I think you said it last episode, sometimes he even spins himself. But he's spinning and firing at the same time. So it's confusing. Also, I don't think that this goes noticed enough, but the pace that Loma dictates is exhausting.
Yeah.
And again, you talked about what one of our into our knock 'em out the box lexicon, which is attrition, right? We talk about optics, we talk about attrition, we talk about certain things you and I discuss here. That contributes greatly to the attrition. It's where constantly having to be alert, like where is he going to go, is mentally exhausting, not only physically exhausting, but he wears you out without even having to hit you.
You're being stalked without being stalked.
Right.
He somehow manages to stalk you in a manner that, again, the optics don't look like this is a guy plodding forward and he's always in my chest. It's not that. It's where is he?
Where is he? But he's firing shots. So it's like shades of Joe Calzaghe with more solid punching. And I'm going to take it all the way back to like, if you watch an old like Willie Pep fight, where Willie's known for his defense, of course, right? But look at his knockout record. Willie was hitting too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So they're there, but they're not there. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the rap quote, now you see me, now you don't. You know what I mean? But that's what it's like. So it's a very, very, very confusing place for these fighters to be in with him. And yes, we have seen Lomachenko get caught. That's when he sort of looks like he's almost bored and he gets caught. Linares being probably the most famous time to catch him. The best way to probably fight Loma, if you are going to try to take notes, is again, how Orlando Salido did. You got to be on him all the time and foul him, and really rough him up. But I think he's learned from that fight. I don't think we're going to see that. And the shoulder looks much better. The activity rate is back up where it should be. I'm talking in reference to the Teofimo Lopez fight.
Well, something you spoke about months back, and we've touched on throughout the course of the history of our podcast is how do you know when a guy who, by the looks of things, is still all there? They're in shape. They come in, they make weight. They look good in camp, but they're not what they once were, and that is they're not moving their hands where they would have a year before.
They're seeing the openings and they're not closing the holes.
They're seeing them there.
Right.
Visually, it's playing out the same way. The IQ is not deteriorating, nor is the mind. The shot's right there. The hook, coming back up top, they visualize it and they can't pull the trigger. You and I, after Lopez, even though we knew that it was the shoulder, our questions were,
absolutely,
is he going to come back, and is he going to be apprehensive to let his hands go?
Right.
The two fights since have proven that he's not. He's at the tail end of his prime.
Sure.
But he's still in it.
Unless and there's a chance that we see another wrinkle to his game, where sort of a la Floyd stopped using his feet a little bit more later on in his career and sort of boxed a different way. Guys can do this. You see it in every major sport. Guys,
James Toney.
Guys alter their game a little bit to compete. Really, great guys do that. I don't know if he wants to continue that long, but whatever the case may be, he looks fresh. He looks fast. He looked alert. The activity was there. The pace was there. The work rate was there. He's in shape. Going forward, I'd love to see him and Kambosos, because I underrated this Kambosos quite a bit. It's
you
funny.
You might as well just say we, because we gave him little to no chance. And I was super unimpressed when he fought Lee Selby. I was super unimpressed when he fought Mickey Bay.
Right.
I said after he won, I gave him all the respect in the world. He could not have been in better shape. He could not have come with a better fight plan. Tough as nails, got hurt badly, got up, won clean. I don't feel like it was very close.
I don't either.
Lopez up, and I still stand by my assessment after it that some guys have just this one performance in them. I'm saying that again. I'm sticking by it.
Okay.
And I believe that he's going to be similar to a Carlos Baldomir. Won them all, unified them, was the guy at that division, was the man. Carlos Baltimore was.
Sure.
Ring Magazine, all the straps, and was thoroughly beaten by a Prime Floyd after that. I see that happening if the Lomachenko Kambosos fight is made. If he fights Haney, I think he can beat him. I think George Kambosos can beat Haney. I think George Kambosos can beat Tank. I think Kambosos can beat Ryan Garcia. So I want to see George Kambosos, Vasyl Lomachenko. If I'm Kambosos, I go through all those other guys before I take a Lomachenko fight.
Well, let's see.
But that's right. Being him and his team. As a fan, I want Lomachenko, Kambosos, and when are we going to say, B? March? Is that good for you? Or are they going to wait longer?
April, something like that?
All
I don't
right,
know.
let's do that.
Let's see what happens with COVID.
All right. Any more to say about Lomachenko?
No.